Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you a really cool PTT telephone, and this is from Europe, and basically it has the mother-in-law option on the back, and I'm going to show it to you. But this is HG's telephone from Delaware, and he always sends in really cool telephones that he picks up over in Europe. And it's just a great find. And, you know, basically it looks like a 302, but it's a PTT. And he's got a letter here, and he kind of tried to get into it a little bit, and he couldn't find the bell. And we're going to go ahead and go into the telephone a little bit and go over the telephone, because this is the initial checkout. But he's got a letter here about the R and the T on the front keypad. And there is also a red LED indication. And he kind of wanted the R for redial and say the T for, you know, like a bell switch or something. But it would have to be, actually, to be a momentary switch, it'd have to go through a microprocessor and either be a high or low and shut the bell circuit down. And that's not really something that's you're going to be able to create real easily. If it was like an on and off switch, that would be a different situation. But if he wants touch tone, you have to remember that this has got to be star and pound. So, you know, it wouldn't do much good to have a keypad like this and then not have, you know, that would be touch tone, and then not have your star and pound button. So I do believe the redial is going to have to come in somewhere. There's some holes in this keypad, and I'm not sure that you're supposed to be able to see the circuit board behind the keypad. I don't think they intended for that to be that way. Maybe this keypad has been taken apart before, I don't know. But I'll try to give you a little look at that as we're doing the initial checkout. So anyway, what we're going to do here is I'm going to kind of give you a look at this telephone. Now, it's a PTT, but it looks like a 302. But it has some age on it, just for the simple fact that, you know, a lot of this telephone is metal. It has some metal pieces in it. But this is the handset. Now, you know, HG always finds these really cool telephones, and you know, it's always something unique when he sends a telephone in. Now, this is all metal, and your bar across your handset cradle is metal. So, you know, this is made really well. It has to have some age on it, just for the simple fact that, you know, they stopped doing that after a while. And then here's the mother-in-law receiver, and he would like this to work, and we're going to try to get it to work along with what we do, whatever we have to do to this telephone to try to create a touch tone situation. But here's the mother-in-law receiver. And basically, from what HG has explained, due to some of the poor reception and telephone problems over in Europe, why they did this mother-in-law receiver to put up to your other ear while you were on the handset was for the simple fact that if the call was noisy or it wasn't very loud, you could actually create like a headset type situation, and basically then you could hear your party that you were talking to. So it's basically just an extra receiver that has receive, and you just use it like a set of headphones if you can't hear your conversation, or if the room was too noisy, you know. So it's just kind of a unique option. Now, the mother-in-law's receiver here has a metal bracket. So, you know, that's pretty cool. And I'm going to start moving some of this stuff over here so I can kind of pull the cover off and show you what's going on with underneath the phone. Now, right under the mother-in-law receiver bracket is a schematic. So that's basically the schematic to the unit. I'm trying to get the light to not interfere with the video. And there's a schematic right there. Pretty cool. So anyway, we're going to set this to the side. And I want to give you a look at the bottom of the telephone here. Of course, it says PTT. And then we have all of our connections coming in from our line cord. Now the line cord's chopped off. We're going to replace that. But it looks like the mother-in-law cord is probably pretty good, and it looks like the handset's pretty good, but we'll go through all that. So now what I want to do is I want to slide this telephone. We have it loose. I want to slide it out. That gives you the inside look at the body of the telephone. Now this is all that's in the telephone at this point. We have a capacitor here. And then we have a transformer that's up underneath the hook switch here. That hook switch is sticking a little. It should spring back. Maybe I'm going a little too far with it, but it should spring back no matter what. So that'll have to be looked at. There is no bell in this telephone. You have such a large connection block back here. You know, there's no room for a bell here. And then if you look at the bottom of the body, or the inside of the body, you have a housing here for your keypad. And that's going to ride right in this area. And that's basically why this telephone does not have a bell inside of it. You know, this telephone could be from the age of where they were using bell boxes, and they didn't really want a bell inside the telephone because they figured anybody that was going to use it had a bell box installed in the home or business, and basically the bell box took care of the ringing situation, because most of the time the bell boxes were mounted somewhere where you could hear the phone ring throughout you know, the home or the business. And these telephones didn't have bells in them. There's a lot of telephones that are have, you know, vintage telephones or telephones that have some age on them that just don't have bells in them, just for that simple fact. Now, could you sneak a bell in here? We might be able to. It just depends. I might have to move something. You know, this capacitor might be able to be moved, or we might be able to take it out altogether and create a different capacitance, a smaller one. We're just going to have to go through the telephone and see what we can find. Probably to the age of this telephone, you know, it may not have had this this plate on it. This telephone, this plate doesn't seem to fit very well. And, you know, this telephone might have had a rotary dial in it at one time. You know, the plastic is different than what looks to be this Bakelite. You know, this is Bakelite, this is plastic. And so basically what you have here is you have two different types of material. You have a plastic, and then you have a Bakelite. And chances are this telephone has been converted and has made its way to be in touch tone, or just a newer style rotary. This dial, I may take it apart, this touch tone dial, I may take this apart and find out it's not touch tone at all. It's still dialing out in the rotary pulse signal. So, you know, it's just one of those things. I never know what I'm really going to find until I get into it. But I can tell you right now, by the way this is fitting, and I can actually take, that's how much difference, you know, there's a whole difference in between the round touch-tone keypad and the face of the telephone. You can see right through it, basically. Try to give you a look there. It doesn't fit that proper. So I'm almost positive this dial didn't come with this phone. This phone's been retrofitted, and so it's probably been refurbished at some point, and then he went to this system instead of the rotary. But this still might dial out and pulse. So we'll just have to check it out and see where we can go with this telephone. But this is a really cool telephone. It's a keeper. It mimics the 302 Western Electric, but it's a PTT. And you know, PTT has its own quality. You know, they were around for a long time. They made phones for a very long time. They made some really good telephones for a long time. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with this. It's a cool telephone, and it has a brand name behind it. But it's a PTT desk telephone that resembles a Western Electric 302 with a mother-in-law receiver. So we're just going to have to go through it, take it apart, take it one step at a time, see what we can do with it. We're going to try to turn this into a touch tone. We're going to try to, you know, maybe sneak a bell in. And, you know, if I can't sneak a bell in, I'll tell you something that might make some sense. A lot of times these telephones, people don't think about it, but a lot of these times these telephones, some of them had just like a mechanical knocker that was in them. And what they would do is, if I took this and went just like that, well, it's going to be a lot smaller than bell, and I might be able to sneak some kind of a situation in there where we have some kind of a, you know, a solenoid or something that'll sit there and go. You know, so we'll just have to see. I do some mechanical ringers for some of the TA-954s, the military field phones, to mimic the BSG TV show, you know, where their telephones are the military field phones, but they have this that ring like that. So we'll just have to see, or more of a buzzing type ring. We'll just have to see where it goes and kind of go from there. And I'll contact HG and send him this video, and we'll see what happens. He might have some thoughts on it too. But at this point, we'll probably take this red LED like we did on another one of these for him. It wasn't the same exact phone, but it had a similar dial to it. And he wanted this to flash, this red LED, when the phone rings. And that's no problem. We can do that. We can probably sneak in this other hole here, a little button for redial, and then that way he has his star and his pound. And we'll just have to see what we can do. So it's a redesign. It's you know, something we're going to have to come up with, and we might have to hybrid it, because sometimes these circuits don't want to work if you have to go to a different style board for the keypad for touch tone. We might have to hybrid the phone, because some of the old workings we might have to leave in the situation so that we get our receiver here to work. Because basically this telephone is set up to where it can power this receiver and power this receiver at the same time. And most of the modern stuff, they don't have that power capability to push two receivers. Most of the time they can only push one. So we'll see what happens, and we'll kind of go from there. But it's a really cool find. HG's always got, you know, really cool equipment, and very unique. You know, I've been doing this a long time. I haven't come across another PT exactly like this. There is some models that are kind of close, but this is a very close mimic They must have had some spies over here or something, because it looks like the 302. So this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. This is HG's telephone from Delaware, and it's a really cool telephone. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.